our next topic. I'm gonna actually give me a second here to give me a second here. Oh, it's not loading up. Oh, okay. I'll just put Overwatch because Overwatch has loot boxes. So this is actually reported off of Game Industry database as well from the same editor, James Batchelor. MPD, loot box controversy having no impact on game sales. Despite consumer outcry, the analysis firm tells GameIndustry.biz AAA titles with microtransactions still appear among biggest sellers. Players may complain about loot boxes, but it appears that the vast majority of them aren't letting the mechanic deter from picking up the latest releases. MPD analyst Matt Priscilla tells GameIndustry.biz that there are no signs that sales of AAA games have been impacted by the recent controversies surrounding titles such as Destiny 2, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, and Forza Motorsport 7. While the latter two titles were not released until October, for which MPD data is not yet available, Destiny 2 was released in early September and is not only the best-selling game of the month, but also the U.S. top-selling game of 2017 so far, which I have later on in the show. Also among the top 10 is FIFA 18, which includes microtransactions-based Ultimate Team mode that earns EA $800 million per year, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, a 2-year title rifle from the cosmetic loot boxes. And I'll post a full article for you guys to read the entire thing. But the gist of it is that, so when it comes to loot boxes, when it comes to people being angry about it, the thing is though that it's contradictory is that the numbers have shown that this actually is very beneficial for a lot of companies in terms of like how much they were making. I think it was on The Know I watched where like they were earning what? Maybe in Blizzard Activision that was that put this out there, but like the number was around like 300 million or some absurd number, and
because it's Anthony, it's a vocal minority that hates microtransactions. And here's the thing, I want to clarify something. I don't hate microtransactions. I just don't care about microtransactions. The reason that I'm always pseudo promoting or like okay with microtransactions because they're optional.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're optional.
Yeah, for the most part.
That's why I said, 9 times out of 10. Like, it's ridiculous to me. Like, when I get Battlefront, I felt like what I wanted to do on Twitter was every single time something cool happened, I was going to record it, like a minute of footage, and then just post it on, like, YouTube, and just be like, I can't enjoy this game because of the microtransactions. But, like, the moments that I'm showing are, like, really fucking cool, action moments that are fun.
Right.
Because it's a nonsense to me to sit there and be like, oh, well, you can't enjoy Overwatch because of loot boxes. You can't enjoy Destiny because of bright engrams. No, that's not how this works. The game is still there. The game is still absolutely 100% playable regardless. And they're 100% optional. This is why microtransactions have no bearing on game sales, because they're optional. Right. Like, people can opt out or opt in to buy them, or if they don't want, they can or they don't. Like, it doesn't matter. And that's why it's so crazy to me that people have such a hang-up on microtransactions when they just don't affect the game at all. Like, if they do affect the game, then that will affect game sales. But if they don't, then that's why they don't affect game sales. And
then kind of, and for a while I was kind of on. I mean, I still feel that it's going to go by game regarding microtransactions and how they're used. If they're used in a way to where there's cosmetics or if it doesn't affect the overall core gameplay, I'm perfectly fine with. And there's still a part of me that still hates microtransactions for the sake that it could affect as far as like how a game is played or how I'm playing the game. But, talking to you about it, like I've, realize that obviously game development is a lot of money. It's almost as comparable as making a movie in the movie industry, and in some ways companies are trying to find ways to where they're making that money back if it's not by the game sales but like through season passes, through microtransactions, loot boxes, what have you. So this is just another way for them to figure it out, and the numbers showed as far as while players outcry, it may be justified, maybe not, it's making money. And companies,
it's not players outcry, dude. It's this is no different than Mass Effect 3 endings or Mass Effect 3's ending. This is
what in terms of Outcry. In terms of Outcry, just want to point that out.
Okay. In terms of Outcry,
yeah.
it's no different. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
It's people who are angry at a thing and they're just being loud about it. They're not being constructive. They're not being nice about it. They're just saying, "Well, you're nickel and diming me," and that's not true. The term nickel and diming means you don't have a choice. That you have to keep. I mean, if you were to sit there and tell me, "Well, I don't pay for Microsoft Live or Xbox Live because I don't use it and it's nickel and diming me," I'd be like, "Okay," because that's what nickel and diming is. But when it's an optional thing that you don't have to buy, that you don't have to have, and the games that I'm also referring to that were not affected by game sales, they give those to you in game without having to spend money.
Right.
Like, explain to me how that's nickel and diming.
Exactly. I think the other thing too to point out is, like, again, is a case by case basis in terms of
that too, 100%.
Yeah, because there are definitely some games where you have the option to complete the game, but like if it's the case where they're not, like, they have the option for you to play the game for a certain amount of hours, but then they have, well, if you spend about $5-10 on this certain item or this certain thing that progresses you much more higher than any other else, just saying.
I don't know if it's in your news stories, but you heard about the patent that Activision had, right?
Yes, I heard about that. Yes, they said, what's funny too was like when this news broke out, like they came out and said, like, was it Blizzard? It's like, we're not using this on our games right now. Don't worry, don't yell at us. It was basically what the terminology what they were saying, but I heard about it.
It's not implemented in Destiny.
Yeah,
which is their newest game. But like, if that were to become a thing, you bet your sweet bippy I'd be against that shit.
Yeah,
that is manipulative.
Yeah,
that's 100% manipulative.
Yeah.
Now it is arguable that what like, let's say just what Blizzard does is manipulable, where the skins are really hard to get on an anniversary event or just an event in general. So, you go and you play the regular game, you see someone with a skin that you want, and you're just like, man, I really want that skin, but I don't have the time to put into it. I might as well buy loot boxes. Like, yeah, but also the person that's in that mindset probably isn't the smartest person with money to begin with.
Yeah, and just for those who don't, I just brought real quickly the microtransaction patent that we're talking about. So this was written by Alex Osborne on IGN.com. Activision filed a patent for a microtransaction-driven system for matchmaking in multiplayer games. As reported by Glixel, the patent was filed back in 2015 and was officially granted to the publisher by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office today, October 17th. Described as a system and method that drives microtransactions and multiplayer video games, the patent outlines a system in which players are matched together in such a way that encourages the purchase of an in-game content. For example, the system may match a more expert marquee player with a junior player to encourage the junior player to make game-related purchases of the items possessed used by the marquee player, as the newer player may wish to eliminate the veteran player by purchasing the same weapons, gear, etc. they have acquired. So that's what we're talking about, and that right there is pretty BS.
Yeah, like I'm 100% not against that by any measure. I think that that's manipulative as hell, but also it's not being implemented. Like the patent just exists.
Yeah.
So I think that's a situation where you gotta, like, all right, calm down, guys. But I totally get being worrisome about that sort of thing because, as we both stated, it is manipulative.
Oh yeah.
It does feel like, it absolutely feels like, very Aurelian, very 1984. Like it has that, like Lawrence Sontag said that on the Dude Soup podcast, where he was basically like, it absolutely feels that way of like companies trying to get inside your head. But, and I think they touched on it on the same podcast, and I totally agree with this. This is nothing new from any company. Advertisers do this. TV shows do this. Movies do this. A trailer, like anything that you absorb in terms of media tries to do this. They try to do things specifically. Let's take a multiplayer game as a whole. Let's take a multiplayer game even before microtransactions. When you play Call of Duty and you get a shot on somebody, the game goes it makes a sound, almost a click, so that way your brain releases a little bit of dopamine.
Yep, definitely.
When you level up, it's not just a ding, it's a that makes you feel good.
There's actual video game companies out there, and I think Blizzard is one of them, that actually hire psychiatrists to...
Hey, just so you know, Twitch does the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Whenever you subscribe to somebody or you follow somebody, and you get that notification that says, hey, you did it, guess what happens in your brain?
Yep.
Same thing.
Yep.
Same absolute thing.
Open your mind, guys. It's the Illuminati. No, but like that. This topic will definitely be going on for quite some time, as well as the last topic, honestly. But yeah, I think overall, I think that again, loot boxes, they work. Game companies going to use them because the numbers show. And
yeah, absolutely.
They're going to continue
like
to
I keep
work
telling
on.
people, I keep trying to tell people, you can complain about them all you want. You can hate them as much as you want.
But
they're not going anywhere.
They're here to stay. They're here to stay. So we just got to make a compromise between for some of us with it. But I digress. All right. Moving on to our next topic at hand. Give me a second here as I